All right, new composition. 600 by 600, square pixels, frame rate 60, duration 6 seconds. Drag this image of the hamburger menu and this image of the X. We have our on and off states for our button. Hide those. Go to new shape layer. Make a rectangle and make a fill. Go into the rectangle path. We're going to change the size. We're going to make, let's see, the height is 20 and the width is, I think, 128. Correct? Looks good. And the roundness is 60. Okay, now we're going to take the position and move the graphic upwards and then go grab the anchor point and put it in the center. So rename that layer top, and we can close it and lock it. We need to create another shape layer, so we're going to say new shape layer, rectangle, and add a fill. Go into the rectangle path, change the size, 128 and 20. Make the roundness 60, and then move the position until it's on the very bottom there. Line that up. We need to grab our anchor point and drag it to the center of our graphic. Let's rename the layer bottom and close it. Create another shape layer. Open that, add rectangle, and add a fill. Go into the size, make the size 128 and 20 height. Roundness of 60. Rename that layer middle. Copy the layer, and we'll say middle 2. I'm going to rearrange these layers, put the top at the top, middle's in the middle, bottom at the bottom. And we'll make all these red just to be consistent with our colors at the moment. The position, scale, and rotation of each of these layers. Move this up a bit so you can see. And we're going to go to frame 18, and we'll now keyframe the position and scale of all these layers. Alright, let's go to frame 22. Keyframe all our position, scale, and rotation of each of the layers. And we're going to go to frame 25. Keyframe everything one more time. And go into the scale. Of our top layer first and make that say 106. Excuse me, we'll make it say 110. 105. Yeah, 105 by 100. That feels good. So the top, middle, and bottom are going to be 105 and 100. So to look like the graphic is going to stretch out a little bit before it recoils. Keyframe the scale of all our layers. So frame 27, all the layers. Excuse me, that's supposed to be 28. Right, let's go to 32. keyframe them all these scales will go from 0, should be 0, 100. But before they all squish into themselves, I want the top and the bottom layers to compress into the middle layers. Top layer move down to the middle, the bottom moves up into the middle. There we go, so the top and the bottom, while they're contracting into themselves, will be contracting into the middle layers. I'm going to trim off the end of the top layer and bottom layer because we don't need them anymore. Go up to 42 seconds. Keyframe my two middle layers, scale, position, and rotation for both of them. I'm going to change the rotation to be 45 and scale will be 150 to 100. And then I'm going to change the 150 to 110 is good. Let's do that. 150 to 110. And then I need to take the rotation of my first middle section and make it a negative 45 so I get this X shape. Go up to 52 and keyframe the scale, both of the middle layers, and bring them down to from 150 to 110 to 100 and 100. Select them all, right click, add easy ease. We're going to trim the comp to be 1 second in length. I'm going to go up to comp, trim comp to work area. Make a new comp. Drag the comp you just made into the new comp. Duplicate the layer, go to layer, do time, enable time reverse layer. Let's test it. It's forwards and backwards. Looks good. Now I want to change the red color to a white color, so I'm going to go into the contents of each of the fills and change them to whites. Okay, very good. Alright, jump back to my comp 29. Forwards and backwards, forwards and backwards. Looks good. Okay, the last thing I'm going to add is a little burst. So when the menu item collapses, we're going to see like a little burst of funness. Let's make the ellipse. Give it a fill. And okay, I'm going to bring the size down. So right about when the menu squishes into itself and bursts out to become an X, we want to have some small little dots shooting out from inside the X. So we go from 0 to 22 back to 0. And I'm going to make the position of this shoot upwards. That might have to shoot up further. Might as well make that white as well. Okay. Now we're going to add, whoop, trim path is not what I want. I want a repeater, so I'm going to delete this trim path, go into my repeater. Okay, so what I'm going to do with my repeater, I'm going to change the number of copies to 12. Open up the transform repeater, make the position say 0, 0. And then I click into rotation and I type in 360 divided by 12. And now you can see where the burst is going to be coming out. Okay, I definitely need to move those further because those little circles are way too big. Those dots should not be that big. So let's see, do this here. Position, and I'm going to, whoops, that's the wrong direction. Let's take that position and move it over to the left. So yeah, there we go. That's feeling better. Burst. All right, very good. There we go. Right about here is it's above the spot. Yeah. There, excuse me. There we go. Burst. Select all, right click, ease. Trimmed off the front and back of the layer by hitting the Option key and hitting the right and left curly brackets. I'll rename this burst, and I'm going to duplicate it because I need the burst when it goes backwards as well. So forward and backwards, right about there should the burst be. Right about there, I think. That feels pretty good. So there you have it. Hamburger menu turns into an X, goes back into a hamburger menu.